Right now, 2 people are in custody for their role in a shots fired incident and crash in Fitchburg, what police are still looking for. Also, medical experts are sounding an alarm about a possible triple-demic that could unfold this winter. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for joining us. We'll get to those stories in just a bit, but first, we're expecting things to get a little cooler and wetter soon. Let's head over to the Weather Center meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Chris?
Yeah, Mark, if you watched this morning at all, I told you temperatures would drop all day as rain chances went up. Kind of a bit of an inverse relationship there. That's exactly what we're seeing. Temperatures have continued to come down. We were in the mid-50s this morning. That's no longer the case. And we are starting to see more and more of those raindrops, especially around Janesville right now. This is where at least the steadiest of rain is starting to come down. So we've got some showers on the northwest side of town, Footville, Evansville, Brodhead, Fulton. That's where you're starting to see more of the rain. Immediately in the Madison metro, any raindrops, I mean, they're out there. I drove through some sprinkles already. So yeah, you're probably running into some. But some of the steadier rain is anywhere from about Stoughton up towards Cottage Grove, Rockdale, and Lake Mills at the moment. But here's what I want to show you. We're going to zoom out. A lot of moisture is getting ready to stream towards the north and east, and that is where we will see more rain as we go throughout the rest of your afternoon. Temperatures are all in the 40s right now. After being in the 50s earlier, we will only get cooler as the day goes on.
All right, depends on where you live, right?
Yes, it does.
All right. Keep it on things. We'll get back to you in a little bit, Chris. Thank you. Now to an update to a story we reported on yesterday. Fitchburg police have arrested 2 people in connection with a rollover crash and shots fired call in a neighborhood off Fish Hatchery Road. A 44-year-old man faces a charge of a felon in possession of a firearm and endangering safety by reckless use of a firearm. A 41-year-old woman was arrested on a parole violation. Police are looking for a car that they say was targeted in the shooting. The car was described as a white or silver sedan, and it likely had damage consistent with being shot by a shotgun. Anyone with information on the car or those in it urged to contact Fitchburg police. And we're learning more about a school shooting in St. Louis where 2 people were killed and 7 more injured yesterday. The suspected gunman also dead. Students describe chaos as the shooter, who authorities say was armed with a long gun, opened fire at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. At 9:11 in the morning, police received a report of an active shooter. By 9:23, they say officers engaged the suspect in a shootout, and by 9:25, he was dead. Police later identified the shooter as a 19-year-old who graduated from the high school just last year.
He lives in the 9,000 block of Pennsylvania with family members, and he has no prior criminal history.
Officers didn't reveal how the gunman got into the building, but said school security and existing safety protocols helped delay his entry. Brittany Griner will stay in a Russian prison for 9 years after a judge turned down her appeal for a lighter sentence. The WNBA star was convicted of smuggling drugs into the country. U.S. officials say they're continuing their push to get her out of Russia with a potential prisoner swap. The U.S. State Department says Griner is being wrongfully detained, and there's concern she's being used as a political pawn as Russia wages war against Ukraine. Now to a health warning affecting the entire country. Medical experts are sounding the alarm about a possible triple-demic that could unfold this winter with cases of COVID, flu, and RSV all expected to rise. Christian Benavides has more.
The season is already off to a rough start, with respiratory illnesses spiking around the country. Experts are concerned about a possible triple-demic.
We have 3 respiratory viruses, RSV, influenza, and COVID, rising at the same time. Obviously, that's something we're going to monitor very closely.
Pediatric hospitals in many states are at capacity, with kids fighting respiratory infections. But White House COVID-19 response coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha says Americans are not powerless in this situation. Getting vaccinated can make a big difference.
We have flu shots that keep people out of the hospital. We have COVID shots. We have a brand new COVID shot that is formulated against the virus that's out there right now. That will keep people out of the hospital, prevent people from getting seriously ill.
Dr. Jha stresses that keeping people out of the hospital is critical when so many viruses are circulating, so hospitals do not get overwhelmed. Taking common sense precautions such as staying home when sick and washing hands can also help keep everyone healthy. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
And while there are vaccines for COVID and the flu, there is no RSV vaccine as of yet. Several companies are working on it, and Dr. Jha says he hopes a vaccine will be available within a year. President Biden scheduled to get his updated COVID booster shot today. Biden had to wait a few months to get his updated COVID booster because he was infected, then reinfected with COVID-19 over the summer. According to the White House, over 20 million people, including nearly 1 in 5 older adults, have already gotten the updated COVID-19 booster. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon, including a nationwide voluntary recall on multiple dry shampoo products. And the world's largest cruise ship is now looking for passengers. That's coming up next in the Money Watch Report.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
All units, all units. Reports of an abortion at Central Hospital. Officers needed to detain doctor.
If Ron Johnson has his way, he wouldn't just ban abortions. Doctors could go to jail for it. And Johnson's tried for over a decade. He even co-sponsored a bill with no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And said if women don't like an abortion ban, they can just move. But it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days. And it's the same for your heating bills. Since it will cost more to heat your home this winter, USA Insulation wants to give you control over your utility bills. Our premium injection foam keeps the cold outside and your warm, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
Over 800 convicted criminals released. 270 murderers and attempted murderers released. 44 child rapists released. Tony Evers' parole commission has released hundreds of violent criminals early, including some of the worst killers in Wisconsin history. Evers' liberal policies are making our communities less safe. Tony Evers put criminals first and our family's safety last.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh local Medicare. Hey, Joe, are you behind this whole check your zip code deal on national TV for extra Medicare benefits?
I don't know. Check your zip code.
Why would I check my zip code?
Because you're in it.
So we get a lot of calls about that guy. It's sad because your local Medicare plans already have those bells and whistles Joe promises.
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife, Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Democrats defunded and dispirited our police, creating the worst crime wave in decades. Biden spent us into 40-year high inflation, drove gas prices to record levels, and opened our borders, causing a flood of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Mandela Barnes supports all the policies causing you and your family so much pain. He will rubber stamp their liberal agenda. Mandela Barnes sides with radical leftists, not with you.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
In a new court filing, the Department of Justice argued the Biden administration's student loan forgiveness program should go forward, while a challenge brought by several Republican-led states plays out. Friday, a federal appeals court in Missouri issued a temporary stay on the program. Already, around 22 million people have submitted applications. Those who have not are still urged to apply. There's a nationwide voluntary recall on nearly 20 dry shampoo aerosol products over fears they may contain elevated levels of a carcinogen. Unilever, which makes the products under the brand names Dove, Nexus, Suave, and Tresemme, says they may contain elevated levels of benzene, which is known to cause cancer. Customers are urged to stop using the products and to go to Unilever's website for reimbursement instructions. And the world's largest cruise ship is now taking bookings. Royal Caribbean's massive 251,000-ton Icon of the Seas can hold nearly 10,000 people, including crew, and it boasts 18 guest decks. Early ticket prices start at just over $1,500, but passengers won't be setting sail until January 2024. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Dan Lieberman.
Checking Wall Street at the noon hour, the Dow Industrials up 271 points, the NASDAQ up 224, the S&P 500 up 51. Adidas is ending its partnership with Kanye West. The rapper, officially now known as Ye, has recently drawn criticism from some for recent comments, including a tweet earlier this month when he said he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Adidas has stopped production and sales of Yeezy branded products. The company says this decision will cost them about $250 million during its fourth quarter sales period. Coming up, Pam's got today's egg prices and the news next. Plus, Chris is back with a complete forecast. And then coming up today on Live at 4, is collagen the next fountain of youth? Well, no, but it does carry some benefits. You can find out what those are at 4.
What does your retirement future look like? With a well-built retirement, your future can look bright. Your financial home secure. Retirements are built here every day. Call now and start building yours.
Radical Tim Michaels is extremely divisive.
I don't care who I offend.
And at his company, the culture comes from the top. Multiple court filings say women were sexually assaulted, harassed, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
If she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job.
Higher-ups dismissed the women as liars and fired those who spoke out.
I don't care who I offend.
That's how Tim Michaels runs his company. Don't let him run our state.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original windows. Boom.
There's no need to be afraid of old windows. Call Feldco for 50% off.
It's the biggest sale of the season. 50% off Feldco windows, plus no money down and no interest until 2024.
50% off ends Halloween. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
I'll never forget January 6th, watching my fellow law enforcement officers defending the Capitol, defending our freedoms, defending democracy, and then 5 officers died. But Ron Johnson is making excuses for rioters who tried to overthrow our government, even calling them peaceful protests. Johnson defended Donald Trump's lies and even supported efforts to make it harder for some people to vote at all. Senator Johnson's just not for us.
And Citizens United is responsible for the content of this ad.
Time is of the essence when planning for retirement. So take the time now to make sure yours is well built. Retirements are built here every day. Retirement Income Planning, LLC.
Prepare to be entertained. Please welcome Cedric the Entertainer.
Getting older is tough. You got a noise to sit down and one to get up.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3.
Your kids can have fun exploring nature at a free event right here in the 608.
Tomorrow I'm live at Indian Lake County Park with a preview.
Plus, how soon do we get rid of all of this rain and a warming trend on the way? That's tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report on this kind of damp Tuesday.
Yeah, just enough moisture out there to slow us down as far as the harvest is concerned. But it's probably a little bit of a welcome break, Mark. Over the weekend, with all that warm, dry weather that we enjoyed, Wisconsin farmers really ratcheted up the number of acres that have already been harvested. The Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service says as of Sunday across the state, about 94% of our corn is fully mature, meaning it's ready to go as soon as the moistures come down. We had about, 22% of the corn already harvested for grain, and we're pretty much done with corn silage. About 94% of that crop already off. 76% of our soybeans have been harvested as of Sunday. We've also got 95% of our potatoes that have been dug and headed towards storage. 43% of our fall tillage already complete as of Sunday. We also have a pretty good jump on our winter wheat acreage. Of course, that's kind of considered a cover crop, something that will give us our grain crop next spring. 91% of that winter wheat already planted, and of that that's in the ground, 67% has already emerged. So like I said, said, numbers keep clicking along across the United States as well as right here in Wisconsin. Continuing to kind of keep an eye, though, on what's happening with transportation up and down the Mississippi River. Due to low water levels, barges continue to be lightly loaded, meaning they're not moving as much as we'd like them to down to the Gulf. And what we're hearing is it's almost a choreographed transportation situation. Barges will be loaded with grain, headed down to the Gulf, and then at night they will come back up, bringing whatever goods we need here in the upper Midwest. So going down during the day with grain, coming back up at night with some of the merchandise or the products that we need. So not really efficient, but at least it's continuing to move. Barrel cheese today moved down 5.5 at $2.50. 40-pound block cheese down 2 at $2.04. Double A butter today down 3 3/4 cents. $3.15 3/4 per pound. So yeah, like I said, a little bit of rain doesn't necessarily sink the ship. It just gives us a chance to take a breath and maybe actually get a couple hours of sleep instead of bouncing around in a combine all night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Pam, thank you. Hurricane Ian is gone, but the damage it caused will be felt in Florida for a long time. The preliminary damage assessment for agriculture losses from the storm could be up to $1.8 billion. Officials in Florida report that Ian damaged citrus trees, forestry, and infrastructure. Total losses for citrus producers could reach $675 million. Hurricane Ian was a Category 4 storm when it hit southwest Florida last month. And check out this video from Bozeman, Montana. A foot of snow fell in some parts over the weekend, blanketing the area, causing damage to trees. Cleanup crews were out picking up debris caused by the storm. Some areas recorded 16 inches of snowfall. Chris, take that smile off your face.
I'll try. I'll try. But my friend who lives out in Montana loved it. Okay, so I'll smile with him. But I'll tell you what, we do have more rain that's working its way into the picture today. I talked about this morning, how we'd see more of that rain making a comeback, and it's getting ready to do so. This is a live look from our tower camera towards the west. You see more and more of that cloud cover filtering in, and it's already a little damp looking. The one place where it looks dry, Platteville, but Platteville's seeing at least some of the cloud cover associated with this system, though I do not anticipate much in the way of rain from Platteville. So that being said, here's the rainfall. All of that surging northward as we speak, and anywhere from about Madison towards the east, this is where you're going to have the better shot at seeing that rainfall, especially as we move throughout the rest of your afternoon and the rest of your evening as well. I want to focus in on the Madison Metro. Right now, most of the rain shower activity is towards the east of the interstate, but we do have a shower that's popped up just on the east side of Verona that's moving towards downtown and the Isthmus here shortly if you're going to be out and about. 49 is where the temperature stands. Light rain drops being reported at the airport as well. The wind chill at 47, and the temperature will continue to drop as we go forward. So again, where we were this morning, that was the warmest part of the day, and we get cooler and cooler and cooler as we progress through the rest of your afternoon and evening. Janesville's at 48. It is 44 in Wisconsin. Dells and Viroqua, Decorah, Iowa is at 43 right now. Other temperatures around the metro generally are all hanging out into the upper 40s. You're either at 49 or 48, no matter how you slice it. That's what the temperature is. So let's push forward. We're seeing that rain move to the north right now. The model a little bit overdone on it, but we're seeing that rain move in, and we will continue to see more rounds of rain into the afternoon and evening. 4 o'clock, your evening commute's getting going. If you live in Lake Mills, maybe work in Madison, you're driving to Lake Mills, it's going to be a wet drive for you. But if you live in Madison and maybe you commute to Lone Rock, it'll be okay. Not bad, just a little bit cloudy. So truly, Madison is the splitting line for where you see rain and where you're not going to see rain. Overnight, we'll start to turn those showers off. Temperatures begin to drop all the way down to about 40 for your overnight low. A couple spots will make it into the 30s, especially farther towards the north and west, where they have more and more of the clear skies. More cloud cover keeps you just a little bit warmer. Then tomorrow, sunshine for all of us, still keeping the northwest wind around, and our temperatures top out into the mid-50s. Now, this is one of what will likely be more rain chances to come. We're going to see a break with a good stretch of dry weather, but if you look at that expected outlook as we move into the first week of November. The expectation favors us being wetter than normal across the northern tier of the country. I've been looking at the pattern, and what I'm thinking is we're about to be seeing several storm systems that come ashore across the Pacific, work their way across the northern tier of the country, and that'll bring us multiple chances for rain. So after today, you'll get your break. Temperatures around 61 for Saturday, and then by the middle of next week, you see those rain chances returning. That, at least right now, looks to be the start of an active pattern where multiple systems bring rain chances our way.
All right, some changes coming our way.
Yep.
All right, Chris, thank you. Howard's in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen now to show you how to make a trendy food truck favorite at home.
Many of us grew up eating basic tacos. Well, those are great. I want to introduce you to a trendier version of them that's inspired by the food truck craze. They're called street tacos, and there's about 100 different ways to make them. They're usually made with small, soft corn or flour tortillas that are stuffed with all sorts of fillings. And since they're smaller, they're easier to eat on the go. For our quick version, we start by cutting up half a pineapple and placing most of it in a blender. The rest we'll set aside for later. To that, we add some canned chipotle peppers, lime juice, a bit of vinegar, and a bunch of south of the border spices. After this is blended, we pour it into a skillet along with some beer and chopped red onion. Once it's hot, we'll stir in some rotisserie chicken that we've shredded up. Then all that's left to do is build our tacos. We do this by spooning our chicken filling onto some warm tortilla shells and topping them with some chopped onion, the pineapple chunks that we set aside, and some crumbled goat cheese. To get the recipe for our sassy chicken street tacos, simply head over to our website. I'm Howard with Senorita Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a street-worthy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, coming up, UW Health clinical dietitian Michelle Swader is in the building to discuss how our body behaves depending on what time we eat. We'll talk with Michelle in just a minute.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
He made $57 million from a family business whose growth was directly linked to China. His dad worked the third shift in an auto plant. Johnson pushed tax breaks benefiting himself and his millionaire donors. Barnes will cut taxes for the middle class. Johnson would let states ban nearly all abortions. Barnes will protect our rights. Ron Johnson's extreme and out for himself. Mandela Barnes works for us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Change it up and choose Dutch Boy from Menards. Get the best quality Dutch Boy paints at the best prices. Pick out the perfect color. We offer free custom color matching and tinting to create thousands of color options. And with Dutch Boy's easy opening, smooth pouring container, and no prep, no prime formula, transforming your home has never been easier. Save 11% on all Dutch Boy paints now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
It was Halloween. My daughter stopped at 3 homes, her girlfriend's house, her teacher's house, and the man that murdered her. He molested her. He put her in a garbage bag. He was going to be released in 2018. Josh Call, he was not there for me at all. You want some help to find out what's going on, and he doesn't help. He don't care about the victims. I know Eric Toney does. Eric Toney helped keep that man that murdered my daughter from being released. Eric Toney's always been there for me, and that's the kind of attorney general we need.
Welcome back. Late night eating is the topic of this month's health segment today. UW Health clinical dietitian Michelle Swader is back with us. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Let's talk about the study. How is it done?
Yeah, it's a simple study, but I think it was done really well. They took a group of 16 people and they had them eat their meals during the day, across the day, and then they took those same 16 people, same calorie count, same bedtime, same level of activity, and just had all of their meals be 4 hours later, just to see what kind of effect that would have with everything else staying the same.
So you're eating at 9 o'clock at night?
And for this study, yes, but obviously, you know, deeper investigation would try to find maybe the optimal time to have dinner. That's something that, you know, questions just come when you have more studies, so it raises a lot more questions. But they had a good start from this study.
Yeah, I understand 3 main discoveries.
Yeah, one of the big ones is that leptin, which is a fullness hormone, makes you have that fullness feeling. The later you eat, that fullness hormone goes down for like the next 24 hours. So you're actually going to be tending to be more hungry. Also, your metabolism as a whole tends to slow down when you eat later. And then also they looked at actually blood and fat samples, and they found that metabolically, that body would be more inclined to store fat when you eat late rather than burn fat. And of course, if you're looking at somebody who's losing weight, those things are not the direction that you want them to go. So it was a very interesting study and gave us a first glimpse of how our body does change over the course of the day.
But as you say, like any study, it raises more questions.
Right. So they just had everybody do the same standard time. You know, what happens if you keep eating late? You know, for people who work second or third shift, do they get used to it, or do they always have to have that challenge? Obviously, they only had 16 people to look at. So what about age? What about male versus female? Also, what about the rest of the day? You know, is there an optimal time to start eating in the morning? You know, so now that we know that this isn't just coincidence, that our body does change a little bit as we get into the night, we can at least use that information to help us set up our nutrition plan the best way we can.
Yeah, Mom's always said that breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Does that still hold?
Not as much as it once did. We know a lot of people just naturally aren't hungry in the morning. Basically, our gastric juices are kind of asleep, and so a lot of people don't wake up hungry. And we really try to get people to get in touch with their intuitive hunger in the morning. You know, some people get up really early and they exercise. Some people sleep later because they have a later job. So we really try to get people to eat that first meal, whether it's breakfast or brunch, when they're feeling hungry.
And it depends what you eat.
Definitely. So we still obviously want less sugar. That's going to help with keeping that appetite under control. Focus on protein, healthy fats. Those things are going to help us stay more full, and so we don't maybe have to go back for seconds, maybe have that extra snack. So it's a good way to help kind of control what you're eating if you limit the sugar.
And I find if I eat really early in the evening, then I get hungry before bed and do a little snacking.
Right, yep. And so you want to try to keep a healthy snack. You know, if you feel like I really do need to eat before bed because I'm going to not sleep well, I'm distractingly hungry, then you want to have a healthy snack. Anything that you would have as part of a meal.
Grab some carrots or something.
Yep, some protein.
Right. We'll keep an eye on the study. It's very interesting.
Okay.
Michelle,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. And here's Chris with one final check of the forecast.
Get ready for some added raindrops, especially for Madison and areas to the east. Farther to the west, you'll just stay cloudy for the rest of the afternoon and evening. That being said, temperatures that are in the 40s now will continue to fall as the day goes on. Tomorrow, it's more sunshine and temperatures that will be into the 50s. A little wave of cloud cover passing by Thursday. Not too bad of a day. Then even more sun by Friday and 60s returning by Saturday.
All right, looking good. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.